you're struggling to lose body fat at the moment, then you might just be sabotaging yourself with one of these 5 real things. And I know these can hold you back because I've worked with many people who have made these same mistakes in the past and helped them break through to get some incredible results like this. And if you want some more help in your own fat loss journey, I have a 5-day free guide that you can access right now by heading over to the link in my description. So the first thing that could be sabotaging your fat loss is having cheat days. So if you find yourself setting yourself aside a cheat day every single week or every few days or so, then stop. It could absolutely be wiping out your progress over the course of a week. So one bad day of eating or a couple of days bad eating can set you back a week's worth of progress when you're trying to lose fat. So an example of this is if we take an average calorie deficit of 500 calories a day, and you spread this over a week-long period, so you spread this over a 7-day period, and this gives you a 3,500 calorie deficit. Okay, so over the course of the week, you are going to be in a 3,500 calorie deficit to help you with fat loss. Now, one bad day of eating won't necessarily wipe out your progress to a degree. So what I mean by this is if you, let's say, have an extra 500 calories at the weekend because you went out for food or something like that, that's okay. That's not going to ruin a full week's worth of progress. But if you're setting yourself a full cheat meal or a full cheat day where you're binging on different foods all the time, then you can very easily overconsume by 3,500 calories over this day or over this course of 2 days or so over the weekend, when people usually like to binge or usually like to go off track with the diets. Keep in mind, a Domino's pizza, a large Domino's pizza, contains 2,500 calories. So that's an example of how easy it could be to massively overconsume. So instead, to help you, you can do this. You could budget in your favorite foods. So what we want and what I teach my clients is to plan ahead with these things over time. This is one of the systems inside our Flexi Nutrition at Train Limitless. And what we do is we'll bank some calories through the week. So if a client wanted to go out for a meal or wanted to have a treat or order a takeaway at the weekend, we would bank 200 to 300 calories every single day, Monday to Friday. And then this will give you an extra 1,000 to 1,500 calories extra to consume at the weekend. So he's still staying on track with his calories and he's still staying on track with his fat loss. The extra calories will give him room to have a treat or have a cheat meal here and there, which can keep him on track. And this way you can enjoy the foods that you love guilt-free, not have to sacrifice your social life in order to do that. So you can still have them cheat days or cheat meals here and there, if you like to call them that, and still stay on track with your fat loss. Now, the second thing is liquid calories. It's not that they're bad, but it's a lot of people, it's a thing that a lot of people don't realize when they're trying to log and when they're trying to track the calories in a deficit. Things like fizzy drinks, like your Coca-Cola, juices, milk, and your sugar in your coffee or any kind of syrups and things, and alcohol too. They all contain calories. And if we're not accounting for these calories, it could actually be sabotaging your fat loss without you even knowing. Take this picture, for example, as 600 milliliter Coca-Cola. It has 258 calories. If you are having one of them a day, then that's so many calories that have added up over the week that are not accounted for, that can stall or even slow down your fat loss over time. What we would want to do instead is, we don't need to eliminate these things because that would be stupid to never drink anything that's not water. But we do need to make sure that firstly the liquids attract. So any liquids that have calories and do contain calories attracts over time. And you can also utilize different swaps, like swapping your fizzy drinks for your zero sugar variants. Like on the picture here, you could have a Coca-Cola for 200 calories or so, but if you swapped it for a Diet Coke or a Diet Coke variant, there's 0 calories, there's 0 problem, so it's all okay. You could limit the amount of sugar in your coffee, or you could switch to a calorie-free sweetener. There is calorie-free syrups you can use. There's the stevia, the little packets of sweetener, that's super low calorie as well, but instead of having sugar in your coffee, or even having the really large coffees like lattes and things which have about 200 calories in them, you could swap them for a black coffee or just an Americano or something along them lines, that will help you save out on calories but still be able to consume the drinks that you like to consume. So the next thing is eating back your calories burned. Your fitness trackers are lying to you. So I know a lot of people use this, and a lot of people use the Apple Watches, the Fitbits, and they track the calories that they've burnt as well. So they might go on a run and it tells you you've burned 700 calories or so. And these watches can be up to 70% inaccurate. They're consistent, but they're consistently inaccurate. So there's no problem using them as a guide to measure your activity levels. But when it comes to the amount of calories that it tells you it's burned, we don't want to be eating these back. So if you do go on a run and it tells you you've burned 700 calories, then if you're eating back these 700 calories on top of your nutrition already because your watch has said so, then this could be really sabotaging your fat loss because the calories are well inaccurate, and often you're actually burning a lot less than the watch is saying. Instead, what we can do is just stick with your calories as normal and don't add on any extra food for the exercise that you do. With my clients, we use this and we don't add any extra calories like this as such. We use the cardio, we use the activity as a means to create a larger calorie deficit. So they're in a deeper calorie deficit and they can lose fat a little bit quicker, but we stick with our calories as such. The activity levels is accounted for in your calories already. Use the exercise, use the cardio to improve your fitness and improve your health, and as a means to expend more through the week too. Obviously that's a big bonus that is going to help put you in a deeper calorie deficit, and this will help you lose body fat faster. So instead, stop eating back the calories that your watch has told you you've consumed, stick with your calorie target, and use the cardio to dig yourself deeper into a deficit so you can lose body fat faster. Okay? Next up is condiments and cooking oils. There are calories in sauces and cooking oils too. So your ketchup, your mayo and things like that. And I just want to share this video here to make an example of it. So 100 calories of mayonnaise. And look, we'll find out shortly that that's it. It's a really, really small amount of food, and it's a really small amount of calories that you get. It's a really small amount of mayo that you get for the calories. And this is not necessarily a problem, but what I know for a fact is a lot of people will be putting a little bit of mayo, putting a little bit of ketchup, sweet chili sauce, anything on their food and not logging it because they think, oh, it's just a little bit, it doesn't matter too much. When in reality, the calories can really add up. If you have a little bit of mayo on your meals once a day for 7 days, that's 700 extra calories that you've unaccounted for, which could easily be sabotaging your fat loss and slowing things down over time. Instead, this is what we can do. Now, the sauces, condiments are not necessarily bad. So again, if you do really, really want them, then we can make sure that we're tracking them in the apps correctly. It's the same with things like cooking oil too. 1 tablespoon of cooking oil contains 125 calories. So again, if you're using that twice a day sometimes, and when you put a glug of oil in the pan, usually it's a lot more than a tablespoon too. So, you know, we need to make sure, one, we're tracking these things, but to save out on a lot of calories for the expense of no volume to your food, so you can stay just as full for less calories, you can do this. You can switch up your condiments to lower calorie alternatives to save calories over time. So like the pictures here, we have the 1 calorie spray, which you just spray on the pan, or the lighter versions of sauces, whether it's the sugar-free or the lighter ketchup, or here, for example, a light mayonnaise, where as 15 grams of that might contain 50 calories rather than 100. So you can cut down on the amount of food, of calories that you're eating while still keeping the volume high. Okay, these can help you save a lot more calories. And the final thing, the fifth and final thing is, heavily restricting your food. If you're eating a super low amount of calories to try and lose fat faster, then yes, this can be useful to a degree. When you're heavily restricting yourself, it can be very counterproductive. And when you kind of are eating, say, let's say your calorie target is 2,000 calories a day and you're eating, 800, as this is a very extreme example, of course, then, you're eating too little. Your chances of binging are going to go through the roof. Your willpower is going to be a lot tougher to stick to, and you're probably not going to be able to be consistent long term. And this can lead to a lot of dangerous things. Your chances of binging can go up and developing an eating disorder with food. And you can really disrupt your relationship with food over time. So losing fat by heavily restricting calories and really having that like all or nothing mentality, I don't recommend. This could be sabotaging you, because in the long run, you're more likely to binge more often, ruin your relationship with food, and it's not a good cycle to get into, that yo-yo dieting up and down. Personally, I like to keep the weight loss to a maximum of 1 kilogram a week on average. So most people, 1 kilogram a week is a really fast rate of weight loss over time. If you're a bigger person, then it can be a little bit quicker if you weigh more, because the heavier you are, the easier it is to lose at first. But for most people, 1 kilogram per week is a super fast and attainable rate of weight loss that's not going to have you it's not going to increase the chances of you developing any of these problems with food over time. I hope you've enjoyed the video. These are just 5 of the things that I've seen and I've experienced with my clients along the way on their own fat loss journeys that has been sabotaging themselves over time and stopping them from losing body fat. If you're guilty of making any of these mistakes yourself, then keep an eye out for them, implement the tips that I've given you here, and I promise you you'll have better success with your fat loss going forward. I'll link some more of my videos up here if you're interested in watching some more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.